Hey guys, welcome back to the Unconditionally channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the possible benefits of giving your hair, giving your locks some fresh air and some sun. And with that, I'm going to be talking about whether or not it's all good, meaning are there any downsides to giving your hair fresh air and exposing it to the sun? Stay tuned. As I said in today's video, I'm going to be talking about fresh air and sunshine, sunlight as it relates to your locks because I got a question from one of you guys. But before we get into today's video, I'm going to welcome anyone that may be new to the channel. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I'm happy to have you, so welcome. I do hope that you enjoy the content, and for anyone that is enjoying the content, be sure to hit that like button. By the end of the video, if you want to see more content, then be sure to subscribe. Alright, let's get to that question. So the question comes from Aziza Miller. She writes, Sabatrayu, please explain what role, if any, does fresh air, when available, and sunshine play towards producing healthy locks? Or is it just best to keep locks covered up? This is a good question, especially as things have, since February, March of this year become further complicated by the virus. So first I'm going to start out with air, fresh air. So as it relates to just fresh air, yes, fresh air is a great alternative to, drying your hair with a blow dryer or just using heat on your locks, right? It's less damaging. And we're not even talking necessarily about the heat from the sun if you're getting fresh air. Just the air flowing about outside. That air blowing on your locks, on your hair, is causing evaporation, which is obviously helping your locks dry. So in that sense, fresh air is good for your locks. Now let's get to the bad. As I mentioned before, we're living in some pretty crazy times now, so fresh air may not be the best thing for your locks at this point because you have to worry about the virus and the aerosols or particulates in the air that may find themselves lodged onto your locks, and you might get sick that way. Also, even if times were normal, I would still say that it depends on where you live because some places are more polluted. The air is more polluted than in other places. So if you live in a place where you have tons of smokestacks and you look up and it's very hazy out, then that's a place where you may not want to let your locks air dry. You may not want to have your locks out because all of those things in the air will eventually grab a hold of your locks. And you're gonna end up with the film of that guck on your locks, which is never cool, and on your scalp. I mean, think about if you've ever been in someone's car who smokes. Just looking at the windshields, you may still be able to see through it, but if you rub your fingers down it, you'll see the film. And you'll see how the windshield should actually look when it's clean versus when there's this film of smoke that now resides on it. So just picture a film on your locks. So I would say that fresh air is good, but it depends on normal times, normal times where you're not in danger of catching a virus. And also you need to consider the pollution in whatever area you live in. Now let's talk about the sun. Obviously, drying your locks in the sun is also a very good thing because it is another alternative to using a blow dryer. And so having some sunlight in combination with the wind blowing through your locks to expedite the drying process of your locks is a good thing. It reduces your chances of getting mold and mildew, right? But as with everything, it must be done in moderation because too much sunlight can damage your locks. Too much sunlight can dry your locks out and they can become brittle. So just be careful, make sure you're not overdoing it. Sunlight is also good because, as I'm sure you've heard many people say, your exposure to the sun leads to more vitamin D in your body. Vitamin D is a great thing when it comes to hair growth. First of all, vitamin D is known for stimulating new and old hair follicles. So that's a good thing in and of itself. Also, vitamin D receptors are known for even creating new follicles, okay? So vitamin D is a good thing. But as I said before, too much of anything can be bad. So you don't want to, be out there going crazy. But at the same time, if you're indoors all the time and you're lacking vitamin D, you're deficient in vitamin D, then there's a chance you could actually start to experience hair loss. So as with all things, it's about finding the balance. And so along with that, like I said, too much of anything can be bad. So remember that your hair is very sensitive to UV rays. So you have the UVA and UVB rays. So that's another reason why you want to moderate your hair's exposure to the sun, because don't forget about those UV rays, which can do damage to your hair, okay? It has an effect on the cuticles of your hair. So just be mindful of that. So all in all, I would say that fresh air is a good thing, as well as sunlight. But you have to weigh the pros with the cons. You have to be aware of what's going on in the world. Maybe fresh air isn't the best option right now while it's crazy. And with that, maybe sunlight isn't, although you definitely need some sunlight too. So just be careful. If you're gonna go outside and get some fresh air, make sure there are no other people around. If you're getting some sunlight, make sure you're not out there too long. Things like that, and you'll be okay. So thank you, Aziza, for the question. I appreciate your questions. You asked some great questions. And I want to know from you guys what your thoughts are on this topic. Do you know of any other benefits of fresh air and also of sunlight? Have you noticed your hair growing more or less, contingent on how much sunlight your hair has been exposed to? I'm very curious, so let me know in the comment section. As always, if you choose to love, do so unconditionally, because loving with conditions conditions the heart to not really love at all. Saboteur is out.